Evening, afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Friday evening quiz for Quizzers Quiz on Facebook Live and YouTube. Let me just get YouTube up and running. So you're all very welcome. Welcome to 7 months on in these strange and weird times. You're all very welcome. For those of you who haven't played before, you're especially welcome. So let me just get... Hey, Billy, Jane, Jonathan, how you all doing? It's not getting any better, is it? It's weird as ever. But in these dark evenings... Hey, Jimmy, I'm well. I hope you're well. I've been thinking about you today, and Kathleen and Connor and Joe and Bill in Connecticut, Adrian. Fabulous to see you all tuning in. You're almost as mad as I am. And we'll keep doing this. And tomorrow evening, we do our party quiz. Friday evening, as you know, is our quizzy quiz for Quizzers Quiz, which is a bit more quizzy. And then tomorrow evening, hey Margaret, hey Jane, tomorrow evening, what was I talking about there? Yeah, Saturday evening our party quiz is a bit more laid back, and we have a few tunes on a Saturday evening as I develop the radio channel concept. So how are you all getting on? Are you all coping, doing okay? This is a way that you can have a party. You could have a party at home and bring all those friends and family that seem to be even more distant in these weird times. So the whole idea is that we all can converge for a couple of hours a week and just forget about everything and just have a laugh at me. How's that? Just enjoy and relax and... Oh, we have an announcement. We have an announcement this evening. So, one of my loyalist fans, most loyal fans, who's been here since I started this, William Graham, happy birthday. William from Pugwash Loyal, one of our top teams when we did the leaderboards in August. And William, I've got a tune for you tomorrow evening. I hope you're not working tomorrow night. So we'll do that tomorrow evening when we play some tunes. So happy birthday, William. Hope you're doing okay, buddy. So this evening we've got, as usual, we've got 4 rounds. We've got 3 books from the characters. Every answer's worth a point. We've got 3 famous ships. We've got 3 famous slogans. Everything's famous here. We don't do obscure stuff. It's all famous. And then we do some US states. I'm not going to give you the number because that's a bit of a giveaway, but we'll come on to that. Then we do a full course of connections. We have an image round which contains some country outlines, some brands, some musical instruments, and some James Bond singers. Then we finish with 3 famous good guys, 3 famous peninsulas, 3 famous pseudonyms, and 3 famous mathematicians, physicists, aka really smart people. Smarter than me. Not as smart as you. Smarter than me. Wouldn't be hard. So, I won't give you the exact point total because that would be a kind of clue to... Hey Claire, that would be a kind of giveaway to question 4, round 1. Anyway, enough of all that nonsense. It's 1 minute after 9. We're late already. Hey, Vanessa, Stephen, Isabel in San Diego. Hey, Sam in Coleraine. Hey, Reese. A shout out to Helen. Helen, big shout out. How you doing, Helen? Okay, let's get going. And keep liking and sharing what I'm doing. And subscribe to YouTube. It's all free. All free. Okay, your first set of three in round one, books from the characters. So I give you three famous characters. Everybody's famous. And you give me the book. Okay? Okie dokie. Oh, only one, apart from no cheating, only one rule. No answers on the feed. So if you're a newcomer, just don't put your, if you got all excited and think you know it, just don't put your answer up on the feed. How's that? Lindsay and Andy from Hull with Shearer the dog. Must put in a, we did a dog last week, didn't we? We had a golden retriever. So, are there any dogs tonight? No, I'm not quite sure. Anyway, books from characters. Okay, character number one, book number one, character Bilbo Baggins is your character. The book, please. Question one, round one, Bilbo Baggins. The book, please. Hi, Vanessa. Evening, Donal. Just get settled in. A nice, yeah, a few challenging quiz for quizzers quiz questions this evening. Character number two, the book, please, from The Mock Turtle. The Mock Turtle. Your book, please, is your book from famous character. Number two, The Mock Turtle. Your book, please. Hey, Eddie. Hey, Jane. The Mock Turtle is your number two. And don't worry if you're a little bit late. We'll do a recap as we do at the end of each round. Character number three. Your book, please. Sancho Panza. Sancho Panza is your famous character and hopefully your famous book. Number three, Sancho Panza. Hey Ruth, you're welcome. Michael. All safe here. No masks, no social distancing. We're all good. For a couple of hours we can just relax and engage. So that was your first set of three, your books from famous characters, Bilbo Baggins, The Mock Turtle and Sancho Panza. Your next set of three famous ships. So I give you some clues and you figure out the famous ship. Famous ship number one, your clue is Thor Heyerdahl. Thor Heyerdahl is your famous ship number one. Happy 65th birthday, William Graham. No, I don't think he's 65, Thomas. 64? I don't think he's 65. Evening, Deirdre. Famous ship number two. Your clue is, pay attention, Operation Santanique. The sinking of a Greenpeace ship is your famous ship number two. The clue is Operation Santanique. The sinking of a Greenpeace ship is your famous ship number two. Hey, Susanna. Operation Santanique, Greenpeace. Famous ship number three. Your clue is Dutch maritime power, a legendary ghost ship which was said never to be able to port. In other words, it just kept going. Is your famous ship number three a Dutch maritime power legendary ghost ship that never ports? Is your famous ship number three? okay so far? Your first 6? Next set of 3. You have to give me the brand from the famous slogans. Famous slogan number 1. The brand, please. When it absolutely, positively has to be there overnight. When it absolutely, positively has to be there overnight is your famous brand number 1. When it absolutely, positively has to be there overnight. Number 2. Because you're worth it. Oh, by the way, you are worth it. Your famous brand number 2, because you're worth it. The brand, please. Evening, Billy. How you doing? Famous slogan number 3. Famous brand number 3 on Facebook Live and YouTube. Impossible is nothing. Impossible is nothing is your famous slogan / brand number 3. Impossible is nothing. So there we are, we're up to 9 points. The problem is in round 1, you don't exactly know how many points are available. Why, you say? Well, because of this. Your final set of X, US states, Isabel, Bill, no excuses here, US states beginning with W. W. Can you identify the US states beginning with the initial W? How many? Well, that's the whole point. US states beginning with W? How many? Is it 2? Is it 3? Anyway, good luck with that. How many US states can you identify with W? Bill in Connecticut? Isabel in San Diego? Right up your street or your state. US states beginning with the initial W. Thank you, Deirdre. Okay, doke. So at the end of each round, we always do a recap. And because I am difficult to understand, here we go. In writing, just to help you along with the old Dunloy accent, here's a repeat of round 1. So, we had your books from characters. We give you Bilbo Baggins, we're looking for the book, the Mock Turtle, the book, Sancho Panza, the book, your famous ships. Your clues were, number 1, in order, Tor Heyerdahl, Operation Santonique, the sinking of a Greenpeace ship, Dutch maritime power, this ghost ship, which was said never to be able to port. Then your famous slogans, when absolutely positively has to be there overnight, because you're worth it. Told you that already. You are worth it. Impossible is nothing. And then your US states, identify those beginning with the initial W. Okay, so how'd you get on? How do you feel about your quizzy quiz for quizzers round 1? Well, let's find out. Every answer is worth a point. Good luck. So we had your famous books. Hi Edith, hi Darren, from characters. Bilbo Baggins, I would accept. The Hobbit, or indeed The Lord of the Rings. The Mock Turtle. Did you get Alice's Adventures in Wonderland? Sancho Panza. Did you get Don Quixote? And Mr. Cervantes appeared this week on this day. Tor Heyerdahl, did you get Kon-Tiki? Well done if you did. Rainbow Warrior, Operation Santanique. The Greenpeace ship, Auckland, I believe, in New Zealand Dutch Maritime Power. Did you get the Flying Dutchman, the ship that was never able to port? Federal Express, when it absolutely, positively has to be there overnight before it became FedEx. Because you're worth it, L'Oreal, well done if you plucked that one out of your cheeks. Impossible is nothing. Adidas. US states beginning with the initial W, well done. A kind of tricky one. How many did you get? There were 4. Washington, West Virginia, Wisconsin and Wyoming. Pugwash, straight out of the traps with a max of 13. It's on your birthday, William. I would expect nothing less. Happy birthday, William. Okay. Round 1. Well done. Out of 13, keep posting your team names and your scores. It's good to know who's biting, participating, so we can plug it into our computer and do algorithms and analysis of talking rubbish here. Round 2, a full course of Connections. For those of you who haven't played Connections before, some of you love it, some of you aren't that keen, but what you do is you join the dots. You get 3 bits of information and you figure out what connects. Well done, Gemma. Derek, on your own. Good scoring, Derek. Jerry and the girls on 12. You've got the girls with you this weekend, Jerry. What connects? 3 bits of kind of obtuse, cryptic information and you figure out what connects. Number 1. Do you know what? I was doing this afternoon and then I thought, I've done this before. Maybe not in exactly the same way, but as my good lady often tells me, if you don't know it the first time round, you won't know it the second time round. Let's test that theory. What connects? The Fall Guy. The Fall Guy, do you remember that TV program? A horse and a revolver is your what connects number 1. The Fall Guy, a horse and a revolver is your what connects number 1. Your favourite round, Danielle. Thank you for that encouragement. So what connects number 1? Hey, Rhonda. The Fall Guy, a horse and a revolver. Your what connects number 2 on this dark autumnal evening, bright afternoon. And is it bright in Connecticut? What's your weather like, Bill, in Connecticut? We've had harvest moons here this week. Tomorrow night we'll do a real harvest moon. What connects? There's Mimi music. A seat, a cut of meat, and a type of harness is your connection number 2. A seat, a cut of meat, and a type of harness is your connection number 2. It's sunny. Good, Bill. Temperature? 50s? 60s? It's 100 in California. Isabella, that was right. I was talking to somebody yesterday and it was 100 in California. You get a hot spell in the autumn, don't you? A seat, a cut of meat, and a type of harness is your what connects number 2. Connection number 3. What connects? 68 Fahrenheit. 20 degrees in our currency. Nice. Yep, Isabel, I was right. It's hot in San Diego. Connection number 3. Enough about... No, it's good to know what the temperature... Jerry, what's the temperature like in Randallstown? Connection number 3. A device for joining electric circuits together. A device for connecting electrical circuits together. What connects that? With a building where passengers embark and disembark an aircraft. And what connects those two with a Tom Hanks 2004 comedy drama. A bit long-winded, so I'll do it again. So we had the Tom Hanks comedy drama from 2004. We had the building where passengers embark and disembark an aircraft. And we had the device for joining electric circuits together. Is your connection number 3? Connection 4. This is good. What connects an aristocrat, an inert gas, and a medieval gold coin? This is a good connection. Connection number 4. An aristocrat, an inert gas, and a medieval gold coin is your, I like to think, clever connection number 4. Somebody's trying to call me there. I don't know I'm busy between 9 and 10 BST and 4 and 5 EST. They don't know that I do this. That's your first 4. Connection 5. Connection 5. What connects an English entrepreneur and media personality? Boxers Ray Leonard and Walter Smith Jr., so 2 boxers, and US college football. Now that would be your connection number 5. What connects the English entrepreneur and media personality, US college football, and the boxers Ray Leonard, Walter Smith Jr.? That's your connection number 5. Okay, so far, connections are tricky. Sometimes you can get away with knowing just one piece. It just kind of clicks. 2 is a definite advantage. So hot in Sandbach. That's because you've got that flipping bar with a heater in it. That's why, Hazel, it's hot in Sandbach. Here's your first 5. Connection number 6. What connects? Gothic horror movies, an athletics event, and a Mickey Spillane private investigator is your connection number 6. I repeat, a Mickey Spillane PI, private investigator, an athletics event, and Gothic horror movies is your connection number 6. Doing good, guys. I feel it. You're in control. So after connection number 6 at the halfway point, do you know what? I'll do connection number 7. What connects? A river elevated region of sediment. I'll just do that one again. So a river's elevated region of sediment, a professional association of lawyers, and a unit of pressure is your connection 7. So this elevated sediment thing in a river, a unit of pressure, and this professional association of lawyers is your connection number 7. Good now. Most people are watching on YouTube. Thank you. Thank you for subscribing to YouTube. It's all free. And I can see comments on YouTube as well as Facebook Live. So, well done. Hey, Christine. Thanks for tuning in. Hang around. Connection number 8. What connects? Snooker equipment. Snooker, as in the sport, equipment, an 8-legged arthropod, and Peter Parker is your connection number 8. Peter Parker, the snooker equipment, and an 8-legged arthropod is your what connects number 8. Four tricky enough connections in your final third of your what connects. Round 2 as I take you up to your halfway point and your commercial break on your quizzy quiz for Quizzers Quiz. Your final 4. Number 9. What connects a male servant? A male servant, secret agent Mike Banning, and Gone with the Wind. What connects Gone with the Wind, secret agent Mike Banning, and a male servant is your rather tricky what connects number 9. Mike Banning, Gone with the Wind, male servant. It's all good. Tomorrow evening on our party quiz, we did a bit of sax, we did piano. Tomorrow we've got some guitars, electric, acoustic. Right up your street, Paddy. Your connection number 10. What connects Brian Clough and Peter Taylor? And at this point, Bill in Connecticut's going, who? Brian Clough and Peter Taylor, the last King of Scotland, and Woodland. And you see the whole point of connections? If there's one you haven't got a baldy, what I'm talking about, a baldy means you haven't got a clue. You just need 2, maybe just 1. Brian Clough and Peter Taylor, the last King of Scotland, and Woodland is your connection number 10. Yes, Paddy. Guitar. Exactly, Bill. Who? Brian Clough and Peter Taylor. I wouldn't expect you to know that from Connecticut. The Last King of Scotland, no excuses. Woodland, Connecticut, San Diego, Randallstown. Woodland, what connects? So you should be focusing on The Last King of Scotland and Woodland. Forget Brian Clough and Peter Taylor. Just focus on the last two and what connects those two. And that's the whole joy of what connects. God, I'm talking rubbish tonight. And after connection number 10, I'll give you a little breather. That would make a change. And we'll do connection number 11. What connects? Paul Hogan. Paul Hogan. An electrical connector. And Lacoste. What connects Lacoste? An electrical connector and Paul Hogan is your penultimate but one connection, number 11. And as we meander our way, sticking with the old river analogy, to the halfway point, and no commercial break, no ads here. Your final connection in round 2. What connects? Jack Nicklaus, you'll have heard of him, Bill. Starsky and Hutch, you'll have heard of them, Bill. And stock market pessimism, you'll definitely have heard of that, Bill. So what connects stock market pessimism, Starsky and Hutch, and Jack Nicklaus? Thank you, Joe. So let's do a quick recap on your old connections. Do you know, as every week goes by, it's getting harder to figure out connections. They take me forever. Well, not forever. A week. Okay, here's your round 2 in writing. Thanks, Alan Kirk, for your wonderful graphics. Here's your connections. I love that, Jerry. 24 degrees in Newbridge, 12 this morning and 12 tonight. You've just added them together and you've come up with 24. Love it. Okay, what connects? The Fall Guy, a horse and a revolver, the seat, the cut of meat and the type of harness, the device for joining electrical circuits together, the building where passengers embark and disembark an aircraft, the Tom Hanks 2004 comedy drama. 4, the aristocrat, an inert gas and a medieval gold coin. The English entrepreneur and media personality, boxers Ray Leonard and Walter Smith Jr. and US college football. So I cannot be accused of talking about Brian Clough and Peter Taylor. Gothic horror movies, an athletics event and a Mickey Spillane PI. The river, elevated region of sediment, the Professional Association of Lawyers, a unit of pressure, your snooker equipment, an 8, should have had a capital A, 8-legged anthropod, and Peter Parker, your male servant, secret agent Mike Banning, who the heck is that, and Gone with the Wind. Brian Clough and Peter Taylor, right up your street, Bill, The Last King of Scotland and Woodland, Paul Hogan, The Electrical Connector, and Lacoste. And we finish with Jack Nicklaus, Starsky and Hutch, and stock market pessimism. So as we approach, we've gone beyond 9:30 BST, 4:30 AST. Here's your answers in your connections. Good luck. You feel okay? I feel you did well. Here we go. So your answers to your connections, we had Colt as in Colt Savers, the Fall Guy. We did it before. Samuel Colt, Colt 45, Colt as in a young male horse. Seat, cut of meat, type of harness was your saddle. Terminal was your Tom Hanks movie, was your fuselage, was No, not your fuselage, was your building and the electrical circuit together was your terminal. Noble gas. First English gold coin was indeed a Nobel coin. And aristocrat, noble, English entrepreneur, media personality was Alan Sugar Ray Leonard, and Sugar Ray Robinson. His real name at birth, Walter Smith Jr. The stuff you learn here. And US college football was the Sugar Bowl, Gothic horror movies, athletics event, and Mickey Spillane was Mike Hammer. Hammer horror was the field event, the Hammer. Your bar was your sediment on a river, was your association of lawyers. And the unit of pressure, your snooker equipment, and Peter Parker and the eight-legged anthropod was spider, as in Spider-Man, spider, snooker, spider, anthropod, male servant, Secret Agent Mike Banning. Secret Agent Mike Banning was played by Gerard Butler in the Fallen series, as in Fall of London, Olympus, and all that sort of stuff. Rhett Butler, Gone with the Wind, so that was a rather well done. Anybody who got that connection. Brian Clough, Peter Taylor, former managers of Nottingham Forest. The last King of Scotland was, of course, Forrest Whitaker, and Forrest as in Woodland. Paul Hogan, Crocodile Dundee, Crocodile Electrical Connector, Crocodile as in Lacoste. Jack Nicklaus, Starsky and Hutch, Stock Market Pessimism, Huggy Bear, Golden Bear, Bear Market. You're getting good. So at the end of this round, you would have had a potential 25 points. As you said, Vanessa, 24 out of 25. You're obviously not. You're too tough on yourself, Vanessa. You're super smart. Okay, round 3. We've got a full picture round. When I imagine all those 7, would you believe, almost 7 months ago, I began on this journey through initial hard lockdown. I didn't even know how to do Facebook Live, and now we can do pictures, and very soon we'll be doing moving images and all sorts of interesting stuff, and I get carried away. Okay, your first 3. Your first 3. 3 brands. 3 brands from the logos. Good scoring, guys. Keep putting up your... Oh, Sam, you're maxing out. 25 out of 25. You guys are too smart, or I am far... I'm going too easy on you. Anyway. Brand number 1. Once you remove the writing from a logo or a brand, it's a tester. Tester number 1. Thank you, Pete. If nothing else, I'm honest. But sure, we're all in this together. We're all vulnerable and weak. Brand number 2. You see, moving the... You take it out... Well, you take the writing away. It. By the way, these are famous. Brand number 2. Famous brand, back to the old famous theme. Famous brand number 3. So there's your three brands. After brands, three musical instruments. We always mix it up here a bit on the old kitchen. Musical instrument number one. Musical instrument. I know there's two of them. Musical instrument number two. And your musical instrument, tricky, number three. So, after your three brands, your three musical instruments, we've got your three James Bond singers. James Bond singers. Number one. DOS. James Bond singer number three. And then I will finish with three fry your heads. Country outlines. When you take country outlines out of context and just isolate them, it's a brain fryer. So brain fryer, country outline number one. Good luck with these three. Country outline number two. Good luck again. And final image, country outline number 3. Fandabadozy. Let's do a quick fly through your 3 brands. Number 1. 2. 3. 3 musical instruments. 1. 2. 3. Your 3 James Bond singers. 1. 2. 3. And then your 3 country outlines. Identify the countries. 1. 2. And finally, country number 3. Fantastic. So how'd you do there? What do you reckon? You confident or? Okay, well, let's find out. Here's your answers to your image round, your picture round. We started with the Abercrombie and Fitch. When you take away the writing, it becomes really tricky. Did you get Kappa? Did you get Under Armour? Those were 3 very famous. Actually, I did put away my gramophone. They're quite modern brands. Once you take away the writing, they become tricky. Did you get cello? Did you get your pair of clarinets? Did you get your sitar? Did you get Shirley Bassey? Did you get Carly Simon? Did you get Sheryl Crow? And your countries, well done. Anybody who got Turkey, South Africa, less so, and Brazil, less so. So I reckon you've got 12 and 12 and 13, a max of 37 up to date. So Reese, you love the quiz, but you hate the outlines. Look, guess what? Reese? If you know the stuff, you kind of like it. If it's outside your comfort zone, you kind of not. And that's why I try to mix it up, because it is impossible to keep everybody happy, including me. So, country outlines, they're tricky. But anyway, out of 37, how are you getting on? And we move into our final round as we look forward to the final round, and then tomorrow evening our party quiz. And can I thank you guys for continuing to tune in and liking and sharing what I'm doing and subscribing to YouTube. Thank you. And tomorrow evening we have the most amazing, even if I say so myself, party quiz. William, having a good birthday. Hope I'm not letting you down and disappointing you on your birthday. Thank you. Okay, your final round. first set of 3 in your final round. You got them all, Deirdre, but not necessarily in the right order. Who said that? Your final set of 3. Or your final round. Your first set of 3 in your final round. Famous good guys. 3 famous good guys. So you get bits of information and you figure out who's the good guy. Famous good guy number 1. Famous good guy number 1. Famous good guy number 1, for the 10th time, is Haile Selassie. Haile Selassie returned to lead Ethiopia in 1941. After, this is the question, after which former occupier was defeated by the British Empire in the East Africa campaign. So in other words, who occupied Ethiopia before Haile Selassie returned? Is your tricky famous good guy question number 1. Who occupied Ethiopia prior to Haile Selassie returning? Is your famous good guy number 1. Sam Martin, Sam Baggers, Michael Farn in Belfast, John Willie and me in Cook. Now that is a strong team. That is a very strong team. A lot of experience packed in there. Abercrombie and Fitch guys. Okay. Famous good guy number 2. Famous good guy number 2. Abraham Lincoln's famous speech, November 19, 1863. For you, Bill. Abraham Lincoln's famous speech on the afternoon of November 19, 1863 is your famous good guy number 2. Can't get over that strong line out on a Friday night in Coleraine and Belfast. I thought you only did party quizzes, you guys. Famous good guy number 3. The war that made Florence Nightingale famous. The war, please, that made Florence Nightingale famous. Is your famous good guy number 3. The war, please. There's your 3 famous good guys. And after your 3 famous good guys, we've got 3 famous peninsulas. Did you know that a peninsula could be famous? Well, they are here. Famous peninsula number 1. So you get a kind of description and you figure out the famous peninsula. Famous peninsula number 1. The Aleutian Peninsula. The Last Frontier. And your last clue, enough. Capital Juneau. The Aleutian Peninsula, the Last Frontier, capital Juneau. Is your famous peninsula number 1? Last Frontier, Aleutian, Juneau. Are you good in your own peninsulas? You've probably never been tested in peninsulas. There's always a first time. That's your famous peninsula number 1. I should give you a moment. Famous peninsula number 2. A northern European peninsula that contains the continental portion of Denmark and part of Germany. Is your famous, hopefully, peninsula number 2. A northern European peninsula that contains the continental portion of Denmark and part of Germany. Is your famous peninsula number 2. The old peninsulas are tricky. They're a bit out there on their own, aren't they? I suppose. It's a peninsula. And your famous peninsula number 3. A peninsula in northwestern Mexico. It separates the Pacific Ocean from the Gulf of California. Is your famous, hopefully, peninsula number 3. A peninsula in northwestern Mexico, separating the Pacific Ocean and the Gulf of California. It's almost worth 1,000,000 points. 1,000,000 points, by the way, is a question that I reserve for one that I think nobody in their right minds deserves to get. So maybe 500,000 points on the side. For your famous peninsula number 3 in northwestern Mexico, separating the Pacific and the Gulf of California. Who knew that peninsulas could be famous? Okay, so there's your famous peninsulas. So what we're now going to do in your next set of 3, you've got famous pseudonyms. By the way, Isabel, that's just down the road from you. Just down the road. So this was an Isabel-esque peninsula. Okay, famous pseudonyms. Okay, thanks Alan for the graphics. So you're going to get the initials of the stage name. No, you're going to get the initials of the person's real name to the left, pseudonym, stage names. You're going to get the initials of their birth name to the left, and then the initial or the initials of the answer. So who the pseudonym or the stage name is. I'll just throw it up. Okay. So number 1, birth name to the left, stage name or pseudonym to the right. Number 1. So to the left, you've got the birth name, and to the right, you've got the stage name or the pseudonym. Number 1. The answer I'm after is the pseudonym or the stage name. That's number 1. Okay, okie dokie. Number 2. Birth name. And in this case, there's 2 names. There's a birth name and another name. But the one I'm after is the pseudonym or the stage name or what you would know this person to be to the right. I'll throw it up. So to the left, you've got 2. And to the right, you've got the stage name or the pseudonym that I'm after. Okie dokes. And finally, your famous pseudonym number 3. Now, in advance, theoretically, technically, there's an L missing in the first part. I'll put it up. So really, SC should be SLC, technically. So I do apologize, but I'm not wrong, but technically, I should have given you an L in the middle. So SLC, But what I'm after is who's MT? So it should really have been SLC. So I do apologise. I'm not perfect, but you know that. So SLC and the pseudonym, stage name, or who you know them as, is MT. SC's okay, but it should have been really SLC. I rushed it. Okay, your final set of 3. We move into the home straight. We finish with some really famous smart people. Famous mathematicians, astronomers and physicists. AKA really smart people. Famous smart person number 1. Born February 8, 1564. A polymath. A polymath from Pisa. The father of observational astronomy. So who's your famous smart person number 1? Born February 1564, a polymath, pretty much good at many things, from Pisa. The father of observational astronomy is your famous kind of smart person number 1. February 1564, Pisa, the father of observational astronomy. Famous smart person, smarty pants number 2. In a right-angled triangle, the square of the hypotenuse is equal to the sum of the squares of the other 2 sides. Do you remember that? In a right-angled triangle, the square of the hypotenuse is equal to the sum of the square of the other 2 sides. Is your famous smarty pants number 2. That was hard. And your famous smarty pants number 3, a New Zealand born physicist and the father of nuclear physics. New Zealand born physicist, he was British New Zealander, born in New Zealand, the father of nuclear physics, is your famous smarty pants number 3. Okay, let's do a recap on all of the questions to your final round. So with your famous good guys, we had Haile Selassie returning to Ethiopia in 1941, but which former occupier was defeated by the British Empire in the East Africa Campaign? Abraham Lincoln, famous speech on afternoon of November 19, 1863, in the war that made Florence Nightingale famous. The Aleutian Peninsula was your first famous peninsula number 1, the last frontier, and the capital is Juneau. A northern European peninsula that contains the continental portion of Denmark, part of Germany, a peninsula in northwestern Mexico, which separates the Pacific from the Gulf of California. Your famous pseudonyms BM111. What I'm after is the E. NJB or NGM is MM, and it should have been SLC equals what I'm after MT. And your smarty pants, the 1564 polymath from Pisa, the father of observational astronomy, in a right angled triangle, the father of the father. What am I talking about? In a right angled triangle, the square of the hypotenuse is equal to the sum of the squares of the other 2 sides. And the New Zealand born physicist and father of nuclear physics. So your answers, guys, to your final round in writing. Thanks, Alan. Here we go. So Haile Selassie returned to Ethiopia, which was governed by Italy prior. The Gettysburg Address, the Crimean War, Florence Nightingale, Alaska was your famous peninsula #1. Jutland is your European peninsula. Well done if you got Jutland. Well done if you got Baja California, just down the road from Isabel. M&M is E. Michael J. Mathers 111. Norma Jean Marshall Bruce Mathers 111, born Norma Jean Mortensen, became Norma Jean Baker. Marilyn Monroe. Samuel Langhorne Clemens is your Mark Twain. Galileo is your Smarty Pants #1. Pythagoras, if you remembered that theory from whenever you were at school. And well done if anybody plucked out the physicist Ernest Rutherford. But it is a kind of quizzy quiz on, and it became a bit quizzy at the end, but sure, that's okay. Tomorrow night, tomorrow afternoon, you can relax, kick back. It's a bit more entertainment-y. You're the best audience I could have gathered. Let's keep in touch over the next few dark weekends in the Northern Hemisphere. If you're Ernest Rutherford's family in the Southern Hemisphere, it gets lighter. Tomorrow evening we have got some superb guitar music and some quizzy quiz stuff, mind you, just not party stuff. And we'll have a late license and we'll play some tunes and kick back, and you can all be safe here. You can all ask your friends, neighbours near and far to tune in remotely and have a bit of crack. And like, it doesn't matter. It's all free and it's all good. And love you all. Enjoy your weekend. If I'll see you tomorrow night, well, you'll see me. That's wonderful. So take care. This was good. And you keep putting up your scores. Keep up your scores and your team names. And we'll keep in touch. I'll keep in touch with you. And thank you so much. It would be impossible without you. Adios. Well done. See you tomorrow night. Well, you'll see me. Bit of music. William, bit of Eagles. Glenfry.